Okay, time for a new video. Welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new. This is yet another Eurovision 2026 related video here on my channel, specifically another Melodifestivalen 2026 related video, because right now I'm about to listen for the first time to snippets of all of the songs involved in Heat 5 of this year's Melfest, which as we all know is the Swedish selection method with regards to the Eurovision Song Contest, of which this year's competition, as we all know, is taking place this May in Vienna, Austria. As always, you're welcome to let me know your thoughts on anything I discuss in today's video by leaving a comment down below, and as always there are links in the description to my other social media pages. Check them out if you so wish. So I have my notes here in front of me. I'll be going through them in just a moment's time. I also have some information in front of me to make sure I don't forget anything too important, and in a little while I will be listening to those snippets of the Heat 5 tracks on svtplay.se. But first, let's go back to February the 21st and Heat 4, which took place in Malmö. 6 more acts took to the stage, several rounds of voting, 2 artists went through to the Stockholm final next week, and 1 act progressed through to the second chance round runoff vote, which will occur at the end of Heat 5 this weekend. So, finishing 4th in the final qualification vote and 5th in the second round of voting with 39 points was Hatter att jag älskar dig by Felix Manu. So I've written here that I was not at all surprised that this finished last. I don't think it had a real swell of support. I think it didn't really stand out too much from the field. A really lovely, low-key, pleasant track to listen to. No doubt about it. I just don't believe this has a great deal of replay value. I don't think anybody listening to this, seeing the performance last weekend, was really that blown away by it. He was in a black outfit. There were boxes on stage, looking like Amazon packages, all around him. He was sitting on them at one point. And then he got up and moved around a little bit, and there were projections on these boxes too. I've written an obvious NQ, bit of a slow build, just not competitive enough, but very nice. I have a clip of the performance here. So yeah, he's wearing a black top, shiny silver trousers. There's not much happening on the backdrop behind him. And yeah, he does have all of those cardboard boxes piled up. It's a very sweet song, but, you know, we've heard this sort of thing before. It's very difficult, I think, for a song in this territory to really strike a chord with a lot of people, and unfortunately for Felix this year, it just wasn't to be. Moving on to the song that finished 3rd in the 3rd round of voting, 4th in the 2nd round of voting, 43 points for Ingenting är efter oss by Timo Räisänen. So, when I heard the snippet last week, I thought this doesn't sound too bad, it could be up my street. Seeing the performance last weekend, I really enjoyed it for what it was. Wasn't sure about whether he would progress. In the end, he was eliminated. I've written here, pop rock in style, trying to be emphatic. He was on stage with this wheel behind him, with lots of flashing lights on it. It reminded me a little bit of Ukraine, 2009, at Eurovision itself. There was a pinkish colour scheme to this performance, definitely lots of flashing lights in general, streaking across the arena. I think at times he was maybe straining his voice a little bit too much. I'm not a professional musician, but it seemed that way to me. Yeah, bit of a crowd pleaser in a way. Fairly casual outfit, fairly enjoyable. I would also say that this was shot in a rather different way to anything we'd had in Melfest this year up to that point. Some of the camera angles and things like that were a little bit different. Yeah, I really don't have much else to say. You can tell I'm not a professional journalist, but I really thought that it was a fine 3-minute performance. If I just take a look here, yeah, he's all in black. Bit of a smoke machine kicking in, is there? It's a little bit smoky on stage, nevertheless. Yeah. Yeah. It's sort of arena rock. You know, it's made for a big venue. It's made for a big crowd. But not enough people were on board with it, really. So there we are. Finishing second in the third round of voting, third in the second round of voting was Från Landet, Erik Jonsson. 58 points for this, 12 points from 75-year-olds and older. Very interesting that this one fared as well as it did, really. Can't really fault it, though. She sounded pretty good. Cowboy times. She was wearing the sort of cowboy hat. There was orange lighting. They went for a very relaxed, stripped-back style of staging, I would say. There was somebody playing the violin. It's a decent effort, but also fairly unoriginal. And I think it maybe ran out of steam a little bit in the final third. There was a carpet on stage as well. She was brimming with confidence. I think that was clearly on display. She was moving about a little bit at one point. Everybody was just having a good time. The good vibes were there. If I take a look at the clip, quite a few tattoos as well, I think, yes. Yeah, these are short clips. So I am repeating them a few times. Yeah. Really nothing to fault at all there, to be honest with you. But yeah, second place in that third round of voting. Pretty impressive stuff. Moving on to the song that went through very easily, it must be said, to the final qualification vote. Now, it's worth saying that this third round of voting may be a bit of a waste of time, because in every heat so far, the song that finishes second in the second round of voting just so happens to be the one that goes through to the second chance round. It's not like somebody comes out of nowhere and takes that second chance round spot. Anyway, it's Meira Omar back for a second bite of the Melfest cherry. This song, Duset Deram, bringing us a little bit of an Eastern flavour to proceedings, shall we say. Beautiful woman, obviously became known for appearing on a reality TV programme in Sweden some years ago, now venturing into music absolutely, and her song last year, I think it was last year, Hush Hush, went through the second chance round if I remember correctly, and she definitely has a lot of fans, and I know a lot of people were very disappointed this song did not go through directly to the final in Stockholm next week. She is going to have to go through that runoff round vote at the end of Heat 5. Anyway, very popular. A taste of the East. If I take a look here, yeah, she's got a whole bunch of dancers with her. Everybody is fairly similarly dressed. We've got these fake rocks on stage. I don't know if this is really stronger than her previous effort, truth be told. I do like this. It's fairly catchy. It's easy to go along with. Yeah. I do think it would stand out in the final if it got there, a reasonable amount. However, something that really disappoints me, and she's not the only one this year to fall foul of this, but how much of that was really live? I think so many artists are relying quite significantly on the backing track, the pre-recorded vocals, backing vocals, whatever, and it's almost as if that is what is doing the heavy lifting, and it's just quite disappointing to see, because sometimes it is blatantly obvious that the artist front and centre is just sort of miming along with it, and it can come across as quite awkward, at least to me. So yeah, that was something that was fairly disappointing about this, but everything else was fine. At one point they moved on to the sort of B stage. There were flames. I think they moved on to the B stage. I can't quite remember. It has been a few days since I saw these performances. And there were some strobe effects at one point as well. The dancers were having a good time. Yeah, it was very nice and nice to watch. But, alas, it wasn't a direct finalist. Instead, winning the second round of voting with 88 points, not that far ahead of Meira Omar, it has to be said, receiving 10, 10, 12, 10, 12, 12, 10, 12 across the age range voting and the Radio Hjälpen vote. This was Kimberly, not Simberly, as I said last week, with Eternity. So this, in many ways, is a really bog-standard, typical Melfest pop effort. She looks great, gold footwear, a sort of chain-like gold dress, two dancers. Not much happening on the backdrop behind them. The three of them are on this little podium. Yeah. It's a sort of slightly soulful, sassy pop song. I really liked it. I think in the final it probably will struggle significantly, though. I just don't see this really getting a huge amount of love. There are a lot of songs in the final already for this year's Melfest that are very expressive, standing out a great deal, in it to win it. And I just feel as though this one here, Eternity, probably isn't quite in it to win it. I've written here, square podium, gold dress, Jacqueline 2.0. I've written here, yes, Jacqueline could easily have had this song instead of the one that she did have in Heat 1. Not much to it, fairly basic, dances later on, quite dark at times, visually, solid pop effort, needs more staging, energy, etc. Yeah, I think so, because this is really not too bad at all. But in the final, I just think it might pass a lot of people by. Anyway, winning Heat 4 to no surprise, and I don't think anybody should be ruling out this song finishing in the top 4, maybe even the top 3 in the final next week. It's Smash Into Pieces with Hollow, so they're sticking to what they know. Stick to what you know, lads. It's worked before, they're doing it again. I have seen a few comments from people suggesting that this is their weakest Melfest effort so far. I wouldn't totally disagree with that. This type of sound, new metal, Linkin Park a little bit, it's up my street. I've listened to music like this for years and years and years, so I can appreciate it. In terms of the staging, quite a bit going on here. The drummer, who has the light-up mask, is on a podium which is surrounded by what looks like computer screens and wires, and then you've got the rest of the band in front of this large batch of screens, light up guitars, and they've also got wires coming out of their backs and feeding into this machine, which is sort of giving power to the screens and the drummer and everything else around them. That's sort of what I'm getting from this staging concept. It reminded me a little bit of that scene in the first Matrix film, where Keanu Reeves is in all of that slimy liquid, and he has all of the wires coming out of him and the holes all over his body. Maybe not a great reference there, but that's what it reminded me of. Lots of flashing lights. I think there was maybe a bit of pyro. Yes, I'm sure there was. Yeah, easy to go along with, not too aggressive. What else have I written here? Yeah, some lasers as well. Definitely last week, all of the budget, I think, went on to the presentation of this particular track, and the other ones got the short straw. Yeah, really, really nice. And then at the end, the podium elevated slightly with everybody on top of it, and then there was this final flourish of pyro as well. Yeah, really liked it. Probably one of my favourites this year, but I can't see it winning this year's Melfest. Anyway, I am rambling so badly. Do bear with me as we now move on to Heat 5 at the Gardehov Arena in Sundsvall. It's taking place, obviously, this weekend, February the 28th. The lineup is as follows. Tongue-Tied by Alexa. Långt från alla andra by Juliette. And that song translates as Far From Everyone Else. Who You Are by Blade or Bladder, not entirely sure how you pronounce it, but it is Isa. Delulu by Lila Alfadji, Hearts Don't Lie by Wilhelm Buchhaus, and Waste Your Love by the returning and former Swedish representative Sanna Nielsen. So, Alexa. And if you believe the hype, she's winning Melfest. Her name is Alexandra Christine Schneiderman, born in 1996 in Oklahoma. She is a bit of a K-pop musician. Absolutely. She won the American Song Contest. She's released one album, Sugarcoat, which came out last March, several EPs, several single albums as well. She has released a whole bunch of songs over the years. Wonderland, yes. Juliet, interesting. AI Trooper, hello. So there you go. Beautiful woman and potentially our Melfest winner, if you believe the online hype. Långt från alla andra, Juliet. So they are a group, 5 guys, They've been making music since 2018. I don't really know much more about them than that. Maybe going to be a bit on the cheesy side, maybe. Who You Are by Bladder or Blade. This is Issa Tengblad, who is now 27 years of age, has been in Melfest previously, albeit a decade ago. She had Don't Stop in 2015, which did okay, and then I Will Wait a decade ago was a really great ballad, which I really liked, and it didn't even make the final. She also co-wrote Malu Pritz's entry in 2019, and has been a backing vocalist for several other artists as well, including Kiana, Ida Luva, and Mariette. She's released 2 EPs and 1 album from the looks of it, and this is her first song in a little while, I believe, under this stage name. Anyway, Lila Al-Fadji, this is bound to be a jokey entry, Delulu, which is co-written by Edward Afzelian, who has very much been involved with Melfest and Eurovision itself over the years. This guy, it doesn't say how old he is, in his mid to late 20s, I think, something like that. Anyway, has got a comedy series which began in 2008, and that's all I really know. Moving on. The last 2 artists now. Wilhelm Buchhaus was born in 2001, was involved in Melfest last year with I'm Yours, which was a really nice song, really nice performance, everybody with the light-up wristbands or whatever, that was particularly effective. Maybe something similar again this year. And then Sanna Nielsen, we know all about, 41 years of age, been in Melfest loads of times, has presented Melfest as well, I think, and she got engaged in Las Vegas 20 years ago. And they split up 2 years later, and she has a son. Not that that really matters. But anyway, we're probably going to get some straightforward Schlager stuff from Sanna. Anyway, let's get into this, and then I will briefly go through the final qualification second chance round thing in a moment's time. So yes, what I'm watching won't be in the bottom corner of the video you're watching, that's the way it usually is. Anyway, it's just still images and audio, and you've probably heard these by now anyway. I'm going to do this once again in order of preference. So first up is Delulu by Lila Al-Fadji. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Here we go. Apparently, from what I have read, which isn't a great deal, this is the strongest heat of the lot. Delulu. What is this all about? Very bouncy. Quite nasally, the vocal. Okay, yeah. This is one you can't take seriously. Playful, bouncy, as I said a minute ago. Yeah. Has a bit of energy, vibrancy, all of that. Get up and party. Not massively original. And in all honesty, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So, not too bad. Not too bad. Probably worth looking at the lyrics for that one when they become available. But there you go. That is Delulu by Lila Al-Fadji. Next up, I am going to listen to Longt från alla andra by Juliette. Easy-going pop. A little bit of a chant-like refrain. Yeah, this is okay. It's okay. Already sense it's not going to go through, though. Nice that it's in Swedish. Yeah. I don't mind this at all, but can't see it doing very well. Gotta be honest. Långt från alla andra. Yeah, lovely. Next up, we are going to listen to Wilhelm with Hearts Don't Lie. He looks very serious in this picture. Okay. Pop, very soft rock, going in that sort of vein. Nice voice, once again. Feels quite atmospheric and hopeful in terms of its sound. I'm not sure about this one's chances either, I've got to be honest with you. But it sounds nice enough. Next up, well, let's give Sanna Nielsen a go. Waste Your Love. She's got the cushy slot, last in the last heat. Is this winning material? Some strings in the background here. Yeah. We know that she can really sing. Oh yeah, it's building up to a big chorus. Oh. We've heard this all before, I feel like. Which is okay, it's hard to be truly original. Oh yeah. Yeah. I feel as though the chorus may be a little uninspired. I was hoping for a little bit more magic somehow. But that's just a 1 minute long snippet. Yeah, that's probably going to do quite well. Massive songwriting team. And Sanna is a very seasoned performer, so it's probably going to come across very well live. That leaves just two left, and we're going to go with Who You Are by the very beautiful Issa, under the stage name Blade. And let's see what this one's all about. I have very high hopes. Ballad, is it? Very pared back here. Promising start. Promising much. This really is a teaser. It's just sort of meandering along, really. Okay, yeah. I think there's a lot more to that one myself. That really was very much a teaser. I'm excited to hear the rest because it's promising much, as I just said, but now you've got to deliver on that promise. That leaves Alexa. Well, look at the songwriting team for this one. Cassiopeia, who definitely knows a thing or two about writing K-pop material, has been involved in Melfest before, of course. If you believe the hype, this is probably going to be the comfortable winner of this year's Melfest. Will it all be about the staging? Will the song actually be brushed aside, if you see what I mean, in favour of the presentation? Nevertheless, this could be a Eurovision winner. We'll soon find out. Starting off quite spookily. Yeah, atmospheric, moody, dark, spooky, eerie, etc. Bit of rapping. And that's not everybody's cup of tea, especially at Eurovision. And now we're going back to something a little bit more ordinary, maybe. And then... Okay. Yeah, if this is the chorus, it's all about the beat. Oh no, we do have a little bit more. Okay, so it's high energy. Yeah, the beat is obviously very evident there, if you see what I mean. Really driving this song forwards, giving the song its pulse, if you see what I mean. Oh man, I am not a professional journalist. That snippet didn't really give too much away. There's a little bit of rapping, and the chorus certainly, I imagine there's going to be some choreo, dancers, the whole shebang. But I've got to say, out of those snippets, that's not the one that's standing out the most to me. I don't know. Well, actually, maybe it is. Anyway, if I had to make a prediction, I would say Alexa is winning this heat, Sanna Nielsen second, Blade third, Lila Alfadji probably fourth. I wouldn't be surprised if that makes the second chance round. Wilhelm fifth, and Juliet probably rock bottom. Now, very briefly, let's go through the second chance round system, which will take place at the end of Heat 5. The two most voted songs will qualify for the final. The age group system will not be used for this vote, but the results from the heats will be added to it to determine the result of the final qualification. More specifically, for the heat points, the total number of votes for each song in each show will be divided by the total number of voters' devices in each show. Then 1,000 points will be distributed amongst the songs based on those ratios. The song with the most points will immediately advance to the final. Once the voting has ended, an additional 800 points will be distributed among the 4 remaining entries based on how viewers will have voted during the final qualification round. If you made any sense of that, well done, because that's a hell of a lot more complicated than it should be. So in this round, and I don't think they'll be performing live, we have Jacqueline with Woman, Robin Bengtsson with Honey Honey, Eva Humatate with Selfish, Meir Omar with Du Set de Ram, and possibly Blade with Who You Are. So 2 are going to go through. So Jacqueline with Woman, she had that curved ornament, for want of a better phrase, on stage. She had dancers. She was all in black. Very much a very leggy performance, if you remember correctly. She sounded good. She looked good. It's a bit of a sassy pop song. She does have some star quality. Not much happening on the backdrop behind her. This is very good. I just don't know whether it's got enough legs to see it through. Robin Bengtsson, this is fairly unremarkable stuff. A whiff of country to it. The acoustic guitar is out. You've got other people on stage with him banging boxes in time with the tune, and then he moves on to the B stage, if I remember correctly. It's a bit repetitive. It's nice, but there's not a whole lot of replay value. I don't think it stands out much. I don't think it would do much in the final. Eva Humatate with Selfish, I think, is one of the strongest songs this year. A really fine ballad, very young, doing a great job, vocally terrific in my opinion, wearing a dress, some pink lighting behind her, this lovely shot where the camera goes behind her as well and we see the crowd. That's really quite effective. And I think that if this was to make the final, it could be a bit of a jury darling. And then Meira Omar, I've already spoken about. Well, one thing is for sure, Meira is going through straight away. I don't see any situation in which she does not go through straight away. She's very popular. The song is well liked. I think people would absolutely have a riot if this didn't progress. So Meira Omar is going to go through. And then who is going to go through with her? Well, if Blade does finish third this week and goes through to this 5-song final qualification thing, and the song is really, really good, she could maybe do it. If it's not her, and it ends up being Delulu or something like that, I would say it's between Robin Bengtsson and Jacqueline. I'd like it to be Ava, but I don't think it will be. I think she'll probably finish last, actually, in this round. I would prefer Jacqueline over Robin Bengtsson, but Robin Bengtsson, he just gets the pulling power from the Swedish public, time after time after time. So, yeah, Meira and Robin are probably going to be the final two artists to progress. But we'll wait and see what happens this weekend in Sundsvall. And do let me know your thoughts. A really sloppy video from me, stumbled over my words numerous times, but do let me know what you think. And until next time, I will see you again soon. Take care of yourselves, stay safe, and bye for now.